Now that Trump has been elected to be the 47th president of the United States, it leaves a big question unanswered. Will he effectively destroy dropshipping with his promise to impose a 60% tariff on all imports from China? Or is there a bit more to this story? Well, before we get to the actual tariffs, it's important to first understand the economic situation that Trump will be walking into when he gets sworn in on January 20th. There's no argument that Americans rely heavily on items imported from China. For various reasons, including low labor costs, low regulation, and free trade agreements, manufacturing items in China and having them shipped into the United States is much cheaper than making the products domestically. In fact, if the items you're importing cost less than $800, then it's even cheaper. That's because anything under $800 falls under the de minimis exception. This exception allows you to import any items from China into the United States without any duties and with effectively no customs, as long as the items fall under that price threshold of $800. And that has created an amazing opportunity for dropshippers. You can sell products using your Shopify or eBay or Amazon account, and then once they sell, you can just buy it from a manufacturer in China who will then ship it directly to your customers for very little money. And that makes the markup on this business model pretty unbelievable. For instance, I bought this necklace from a seller on AliExpress. I had it manufactured by them, it was shipped here, it got delivered to me, all of that for just $2. That is it. And this same necklace is being sold for about $40 on different people's Shopify stores. So how can manufacturers in America even compete with that? Well, the truth is, they can't. And that has upset a lot of Americans. Recently, Biden has taken notice of this and has announced his plans to close the de minimis loophole. Not only will that result in additional costs to import these items, but it will also take significantly longer to clear customs. While the exact extent of this is pretty unclear, it is very likely that with these new changes, dropshipping from China, the way that most people do it, will take way too long for consumers who are increasingly used to 1 to 3 day shipping. And with the additional costs involved, any advantage that dropshippers had when they were dropshipping from China will be effectively wiped out. But like I said, this was one of Biden's plans. And I think a lot of people think that as soon as Trump enters office, he's just going to scrap every plan that Biden had. But that's not actually true. This in particular is one of those plans that Trump would be a big supporter of. We don't know his exact stance on it yet, but this is the exact kind of plan that he would put into place because he is so pro-manufacturing here in the United States and so anti-China. In fact, Trump would likely implement it more aggressively than Biden is, and he won't just stop there. Part of Trump's platform when he was running for president was that he promised he would raise tariffs on imported goods. You see, he feels that the free trade that exists between the United States and foreign countries is unfair to American manufacturing and puts their interests over our own. That's why he has promised a staggering 60% tariff on goods imported from China and 10% for all other countries. So if that happens, and if you're dropshipping from China, you may soon have to deal with 1, duties, 2, customs, and 3, tariffs. And I think all those combined would completely destroy this business model, if that's what Trump actually does. You see, some analysts have claimed that Trump isn't actually going to do this, that either 1, he doesn't have the legal authority to do it, or 2, even if he does have the legal authority, it's not actually what he wants to do, that instead he's just going to use this as a bargaining chip with China. Now, others disagree with this. Others think that he absolutely does have the power to do this and he will do it. But all that kind of remains to be seen how it's all going to shake out. Regardless, it does seem that Trump is set to shake up this entire industry, and some retailers are already taking precautionary measures. Some, for instance, have begun to order surplus goods to store in their US warehouses pre-tariffs. But once the tariffs are in place and that surplus runs out, they'll then need to raise their prices to get new stock in their warehouses. So the companies that are going to win here are the ones that are able to store the most pre-tariff inventory, which actually creates a great opportunity for people like me who dropship from these big US retailers. While everyone else on eBay will have to raise their prices, I'll be able to keep mine lower for several more months because Amazon and Walmart will still have lower prices because they are the ones who are able to store the most pre-tariff inventory. So I think this will actually be a big opportunity for people that dropship using this method. Now, I'm not going to dive into my exact process for how I dropship in this video, but if you want to learn more about it, then you should download my free Dropshipping Secrets ebook. You can find it at the first link in the description down below, and that's just a great resource to get you started, and I did make it completely free for you. Now, it's not all bad news for us dropshippers now that Trump has been elected. In fact, some of his policies can be quite beneficial. So for instance, a lot of you might have heard that Congress is trying to ban TikTok in the United States, and there's been quite a push for this. But Trump is one of those politicians who doesn't seem to want to do that. In fact, he seems to like TikTok. So the likelihood of TikTok being banned in the United States under Trump is much lower than it was under Biden. And in general, Trump is also very pro-business, at least if you're a US business. So for instance, he implemented the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, which allowed some businesses to deduct up to 20% of qualified business income. And a lot of small business owners, like dropshippers, were able to take advantage of that. Now that's set to expire in 2025, but it may be extended now that Trump is going to go into office. So to sum this up, Trump appears to be anti-China, but pro-US business. It's kind of hard to tell what the next 4 years will look like for us dropshippers. Luckily, the type of dropshipping we do is very flexible. We leave it to the big companies like Amazon to adapt to these changes, and then we continue to benefit from dropshipping from them. And while most of these companies get their items from China right now, there have been many reports that some of them are already moving manufacturing over to Mexico. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments section down below if you think Trump will be good or bad for dropshipping. And then we'll come back in 4 years and see who was right. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.